Hello, everyone. I hope you are ready to completely dismantle what you think you know about attraction. Today, we are going to explore the shadow side of female psychology, the unspoken, primal, and often considered dirty desires that women crave but will almost never vocalize due to social conditioning. We are looking at the biology of desire, not the politeness of modern society. Let's begin with the most fundamental psychological burden that modern women face and how you are unknowingly making it worse. In today's world, a woman is constantly in her masculine energy. She is making executive decisions at work, managing finances, and navigating complex social logistics. Psychologically, this leads to a state known as decision fatigue. Every single choice a human being makes consumes a finite amount of glucose in the prefrontal cortex. By the time she meets you for a date or comes home to you, she is mentally depleted. When you ask her questions like, "Where do you want to eat?" or "What do you want to do tonight?" you believe you are being polite. You think you are being a considerate partner. You are not. In reality, you are assigning her more work. You are adding another cognitive load to her already exhausted mental stack. The first thing she secretly wants is the removal of choice. This is the concept of benevolent dominance. She craves a man who can override her executive function, not to control her life, but to control the environment for her benefit. She wants you to stop asking and start announcing. Instead of asking if she wants to go to an Italian restaurant, you simply tell her to be ready at 7 o'clock because you are taking her to the Italian place. This triggers a profound sense of safety and competence. Evolutionarily, a leader who can make swift decisions without hesitation is a survivor. When you take charge of the logistics, you signal that you are competent enough to navigate the world. This allows her to shift from her doing energy into her being energy. She wants to relax. She wants to surrender control. But she can only surrender control if she trusts the person holding the reins. When you make decisions for her, you are not acting as a tyrant. You are acting as a leader. To the female nervous system, that form of leadership is biologically intoxicating because it allows her to finally rest. Moving deeper into the evolutionary brain, we have to address the concept of territoriality. Society tells men that possessiveness is toxic, and certainly control born of insecurity is toxic. However, there is a primal form of possessiveness that women crave, which evolutionary psychologists identify as mate guarding. This is the deep-seated desire to be claimed. If a man is indifferent to other men approaching her, or if he seems unaware of the competition, it signals that he places a low value on her as a mate. It signals low investment. She wants you to mark your territory, not with aggression, but with presence. We call this resource guarding or public claiming. When you are in public and another man looks at her, or you walk into a crowded room, she does not want you to walk passively next to her. She wants you to place your hand firmly on the small of her back. She wants you to guide her by the back of her neck or pull her physically closer to your frame when you introduce her to others. This triggers a proprioceptive bond. When you physically attach her to your frame, you are sending a nonverbal signal to the room that she is with you. But more importantly, you are sending a signal to her nervous system. You are grounding her. The secret here is that she wants to feel like a prize that you are unwilling to lose. When you show a healthy level of territoriality, you trigger a dopamine rush associated with high mate value. She feels precious because you are guarding her. Now let's discuss the mechanism of connection, the gaze. We are socialized to be polite, to look away, to not stare. But in the context of intimacy, avoiding eye contact signals shame, submission, or a lack of confidence. The desire here is the wish to be consumed by your eyes. There is a specific type of eye contact that triggers the fight or flight response in a sexual way. It is the difference between looking at her face and looking into her. This is often referred to as the predatory gaze. When she is talking or when there is a lull in conversation, you must not look away. You look at her left eye, then her right eye, then drop your gaze down to her lips, and then back up to her eyes. And the key is silence. Do not smile immediately. Keep your face neutral, perhaps slightly intense. Let the silence hang there for 3 seconds longer than is comfortable. This triggers arousal via the autonomic nervous system. When you look at her with hungry eyes, scanning her face and body without apology, it increases her heart rate. You are subcommunicating that you are not just listening to her, you are thinking about doing things to her. Women often complain about being objectified by strangers, but with a man she desires, she wants to be the object of your focus. She wants to feel that your attraction to her is overwhelming your logical brain. This intensity must be matched by the acoustics of your authority. Most men speak from their throat. It is high-pitched, rapid, and often ends with an upward inflection, making statements sound like questions. This signals uncertainty. The secret desire is for your voice to vibrate in her chest. She wants the bedroom voice in non-bedroom settings. You need to slow down and pitch down. Before you say something important, especially if it is a command or a compliment, take a deep breath into your stomach and speak on the exhale. This naturally lowers your pitch. Drop your volume. Make her lean in to hear you. Low-frequency sounds are associated with larger body size and higher testosterone levels in the animal kingdom. A deep voice literally vibrates differently in the listener's ear. When you lower your voice and speak slowly, you are signaling emotional control. You are not rushing because you are not afraid of being interrupted. The secret is that a low, raspy voice bypasses the logical center of the brain and hits the emotional center. It creates an immediate, intimate atmosphere, even in a crowded room. It feels like a secret. It feels like a precursor to intimacy. She wants you to use that voice to tell her what to do. This leads us to the physical manifestation of that voice: physical containment. Modern women are often described as chaotic or emotional by men who do not understand how to handle that energy. Sometimes she feels out of control. Her thoughts are racing, she's anxious, or she is testing you. She does not want you to argue with logic. She wants you to physically contain her. This utilizes the principle of deep pressure therapy. Deep pressure releases serotonin and dopamine while reducing cortisol. But sexologically, it signals dominance and capability. This is the trapping embrace. This is not a gentle hug. This is when you wrap your arms around her, pinning her arms to her sides, and hold her tight, tighter than usual. You create a physical boundary that she cannot easily escape. Or it is grabbing her wrist firmly when she tries to walk away during a playful tease. The fantasy here is the idea of being overpowered. It is the feeling that you are physically stronger than her and that she cannot move unless you let her. This contrast is essential. If she knows you could crush her, but you are choosing to hold her gently but firmly, that is the definition of safety. She wants to feel small in your presence. By physically restricting her movement, you allow her to feel the full weight of your masculinity. However, giving her what she wants immediately is a mistake. This brings us to the principle of denial and anticipation. Men are often goal-oriented. In intimacy, men want to get to the finish line. Women are process-oriented. Their arousal builds slowly and reacts to context. The dirty thing she wants is for you to stop. She wants you to deny her the very thing she is asking for, to build the tension until it is unbearable. This is the not yet principle. When things are getting heated, or even when you are just kissing, you must be the one to pull away first. Kiss her passionately for 10 seconds, then stop. Pull your head back, look at her using that predatory gaze we discussed, and say, "Not yet," or "We need to slow down." This utilizes intermittent reinforcement. Dopamine is not the chemical of pleasure, it is the chemical of seeking pleasure. It is highest during the anticipation of the reward, not the reward itself. By pulling away, you are stimulating her seeking system. You are proving that you have more self-control than she does. A man who cannot control his own urges appears weak and easily manipulated. A man who can say no or wait even when he wants it demonstrates supreme self-mastery. She wants to feel that she is losing control, but she needs you to keep yours. This dynamic of denial makes the eventual act infinitely more satisfying. Finally, we must discuss the psychological anchor for all of these points: emotional stoicism. Women will often shit test or fitness test men. They will throw emotional curveballs, act bratty, or change plans suddenly to see how you react. If you get angry, you fail. If you get pleading and apologetic, you fail. The desire here is for you to be completely unbothered by her chaos. She wants to see that her emotional storms cannot erode your mountain. This is the concept of amused mastery. When she is acting out, or being difficult, or trying to provoke a reaction, do not engage in the argument. Look at her with a slight smirk. Treat her like a cute, bratty child. Say things like, "You're cute," when you're trying to be tough. Or simply ignore the attitude and continue with what you are doing. This signals emotional safety. If she can rattle you with a few words, she cannot trust you to handle the real problems of the world. The secret is that she wants to push against you and feel a steel wall. She wants to know that your frame of reality is stronger than hers. When you remain stoic and amused rather than reactive, it creates a polarity. She becomes the chaos and you remain the order. This polarity is the root of all sexual tension. She wants to know that no matter how crazy she gets, you are the constant. You are the anchor. That is the ultimate form of dominance, the dominance over your own emotional state. Ultimately, these 7 points share a common thread: polarity. She does not want a partner who is exactly like her. She wants a partner who provides the counterbalance to her femininity. She wants decision-making because she is tired. She wants possession because she wants to be valued. She wants physical containment because she wants to feel safe. Execute these with calibration, and you will tap into the deepest layers of female psychology. Thank you for your attention. Use this knowledge wisely. Goodbye.